What's up everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls. Gotten everything sorted out and I am feeling good about this episode and the next couple ones to come. When last I left off, I was on my way up to the annex of the Painted World. Well, I was doing a little more than heading up there. I was actually kind of getting my ass handed to me. But now that I am back and refreshed, better than ever, I don't think that's going to be so much of an issue anymore. So we're going to head up here and fight pretty much just nothing but Velka's crow people and engorged pyromancy zombies. Come here. Come here. I want to try... This is what I was talking about in the last episode. I want to bait an attack out. Get one attack in, and then throw a fireball to make sure they don't explode toxic blood all over me. And I think I mentioned this last time. I don't want to block the torch-wielding ones. I don't want to block their attacks and then counterattack. Because if I block them, they will become staggered, and when they're staggered, they take extra damage, so much so that I one-shot them, and I get intoxicated. So, don't want to have that happen. Just one hit, not a counter hit, and a fireball. That seems to work pretty well. The crows indicate that there should be a harpy, a crow person, landing nearby pretty soon. This is another petrified blacksmith. That one holds the dark ember. What did the last one hold? The magic ember? The one that lets you upgrade to plus 10? Anyway. I feel pretty good about handling 2-on-1 now. I forgot they had that nasty dive bomb attack, the grab, actually. But they're so vulnerable after they land. It's actually quite nice if you're paying attention. Oh, right, there's another bloated pyromancer at the top of the steps. Oh, I hear the fireball traveling. And that's 2 down. So this is already going way better than towards the end of last episode when I was just kind of running into a brick wall here. Is that illusory? No, it looks weird though. Oh, it's sunken into the wall. It does look like a door or some kind of illusory wall. Guess not though. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the things that I'm still missing here in the annex are the Vow of Silence miracle and... I want to say the Pardoner's equipment, the Velka gear. Oh, that didn't work. Fireball didn't reach him, and I got hit. It's like 2 for 1 for blunders. That I should have had time there. Oh, and I just got lucky. What the hell? The hitbox on that fireball is so bizarre. It's up here, I think, is where the Vow of Silence is. Yeah. Oh, and we have crow people just spawning in, not even bothering to land. It's fine, though. I have enough stamina for both of you. Thanks for landing so close to each other. That's really awesome of you. Kind and generous. Kind and generous crow people. I love it. Oh, right, the dried finger. That's what I was thinking of last episode. Yeah, the souvenir of reprisal is a dried out ear. The Darkmoon Blades take ears off of their victims. Or, rather, off of their prey, off of the guilty. I was thinking of fingers for some reason, and that's why, because you do actually get dried fingers here. And yeah, just another connection between the cut Velka covenant and Velka being the goddess of sin and meting out justice. And the Darkmoon Blade Covenant is that the crow people drop souvenirs of reprisal, the items you need to level up within the Darkmoon Blade Covenant. And heading up the stairs, is there anything we missed up here? No, it doesn't look like it. There is the stairway though, which you can only access from the annex, and this is the one that goes all the way to the top of the tower. And along the way, are a number of large souls that are guarded by an inordinate amount of crow people. So while I'm killing these guys, did you know that similarly to how you can use the cracked Red Eye Orb to invade Lautrec in Dark Anor Londo for Anastasia's storyline, you were originally supposed to be able to use a cut version of the Black Eye Orb to invade Shiva of the East here. I can't remember if I actually talked about Shiva or not when I joined Alvina's Covenant. But in case I didn't, Shiva is a merchant, and Shiva is guarded by a bodyguard who, if you can kill him, you gain the Dark Woodgrain Ring. Originally, Shiva was supposed to have a storyline like Satsuki's from Demon Souls, where Shiva would ask you to bring a katana to him. Just like how Satsuki wanted the magic sword Makoto, Shiva wanted the Chaos Blade. Shiva would then steal it in this cut content, and you'd have to get it back by invading Shiva here in the Painted World. And I'm not sure if I told you all of that or not way back when I joined the Forest Hunter Covenant, but here's something I know I didn't tell you back then. Shiva also used to reference Demon Souls. In that cut dialogue, Shiva states that the Chaos Blade was forged by the legendary undead swordsmith Makoto. How's that for a callback? Again, just furthering the idea that the Painted World is all about callbacks and throwbacks and references and kind of cool Easter eggs, which more so than anything explains where the peculiar doll is placed. There are probably threads you can follow to explain its placement within the context of the lore, but it's honestly mostly just a gameplay convention. It was placed where it was because it made for an engaging secret, cool little Easter egg. Probably without an explicit lore reason behind it. But it is fun to speculate anyway, and that's the great thing about Dark Souls. Sometimes you get to invent and be imaginative when things are done purely for gameplay conventions. Even when there aren't really that many narrative threads to follow. I think this is the last of the Baronite Knights we fight. Not entirely sure how he got here, come to think of it. He must have been placed here or transported here before the painting came to Anor Londo, assuming Tarkus is the only Baronite Knight to have made it into Anor Londo. But then again, what does that make the giant knights who look just like the mini Baronite Knights? Are they still Knights of Baronite? Who are they? I might have posed this question a while back, and I can't remember if I got any solid responses about it. Anyway, though, let me just heal up, and we will step through the fog to confront Priscilla, who does not have an intro cutscene, but she does have a little bit to say to us first. So first, let's be refined, let's be gentlemen about this. No need to just come in here all belligerent.
Who art thou? One of us thou art not. If thou hast misstepped into this world, plunge down from the plank and hurry home. If thou seekest I, thine desires shall be requited not. Thou must returneth whence thou came. This land is peaceful, its inhabitants kind, but thou dost not belong. I beg of thee, plunge down from the plank and hurry home. Thou must returneth whence thou came. This land is peaceful, its inhabitants kind, but thou dost not belong. I beg of thee, plunge down from the plank and hurry home.
So not only is Priscilla an optional boss, she's an optional boss who you don't even have to fight once you've entered her boss fog. She instructs you to just plunge off the plank out of the Painted World, and that is, in fact, the only exit from the Painted World.
I expected as much.
The fight itself,
Why
while
does
not
he
terribly
hurry
difficult,
to walk
is
down
another interesting one. Interesting by virtue of the fact that you're fighting a totally invisible boss. And the only way to tell where Priscilla is by looking at the snow. She leaves footprints in the snow, which is a pretty clever little mechanic. That life hunt sight does make it a little bit tricky though, because it has such good dead angles. Dead angles are like the blind spots in your shield when you have it up. And that sight tends to find them pretty well. It's like a divining rod for wherever you're most vulnerable, as I just demonstrated. It's very hard to block it, so you kind of have to pay attention to not only where her footprints are popping up, but where her feet are facing, so you can find an angle to avoid the scythe. Like that. There we go. And you can stagger her pretty easily, and once she becomes staggered, I might be misusing the word stagger here, because it's not a state where she is reeling back and taking extra damage. It's more like once you've inflicted enough damage to her, she becomes visible for a little bit, and then eventually she'll go back to being invisible. This is a good opportunity to go after the tail.
But why? What's it?
Like I was saying, the best time to go after the tail, and Priscilla's tail is one of the hardest, if not the hardest tail to cut off in the entire game. Because she towers above you, her tail is pretty short and stubby, and it's about a foot over your head. So the best time to go after her is when she's visible. And a good technique I've seen for getting her to that state is by throwing knives at her, because they do very little damage, and they seem to cause quite a bit of hit stun, which is the way to go about getting her visible. And the weapon that you get for cutting her tail off, that might be the only one I'm gonna miss. I might also miss Seath's. The weapon you get for cutting her tail off is called Priscillas Dagger, which has the same bleed effect as the life hunt scythe. And I'm turning around, by the way, because I realized right before I plunged off the edge that there is still something I want to take care of here that I've not done. The life hunt scythe you make by, I think you get a scythe weapon to +10 and you combine it with Priscilla's soul. The life hunt scythe is awesome because the player version of it has the same dead angle properties as the one that Priscilla uses. It's the same weapon, and it has the highest amount of bleed damage in the game. It's tied with Priscilla's Dagger at 500. And I think I mistakenly said that bleed works a bit like poison, like a damage over time. It works nothing like that, actually. I'm not sure why I was thinking that at the time. The way bleed works is that, just like poison, you have to build it up before it actually takes effect. But unlike poison, it doesn't do its damage over time. It does it all in one huge burst once you've caused someone to bleed out. And the bleed rating tells you the percentage of a target's maximum health that they are going to take in damage. So a weapon with 300 bleed rating is going to do 30% of a target's maximum health in damage. Priscilla's Dagger and the Life Hunt Scythe both have bleed ratings of 500, meaning half of a target's health. And I just remembered that the guy I'm waiting for doesn't show up once the boss is dead. Oh, I'm stupid. I'll talk about bleed and Jeremiah in a moment while I cut ahead. Damn it. Okay. Oh, all the painted guardians are back. So, 1 second. Be very quiet. I'm trying to escape the painted guardian room. without any of these many, many guardians gathered around the fallen chandelier detecting me. It's going pretty well so far. Oh, I'm gonna make it out of here, no problem. Oh, he sees me! He sees me! It's all off now. Run! Oh god, they're rolling at me. And these guys backstab. I have to not run out of stamina. I have to stay alive. Because I probably aggroed the entire room and there's a big white parade behind me. Also known as clan rally. There's a clan rally of painted guardians chasing me down. When will the discrimination against hollows and Lordron end? Oh cool, only 2 made it onto the bridge. That is enough where I can focus on talking about what I was talking about before I... Oh, my words, they are fucked. It's just... This guy doesn't even care. He was content to just patrol the bridge for eternity. He was tired of the painted room. Okay, that's rad. What I was gonna conclude with the bleed talk is that a lot of bosses are susceptible to being bled out. However, bosses also have higher bleed resist, meaning if you're using the life hunt scythe, you're not exactly gonna be taking off. You're not gonna shave half their health off every time you cause them to bleed. It's gonna be a much diminished effect, but it's still very, very good. Where the life hunt scythe really shines, though, is obviously in PvP, where you get the nice dead angles, and the bleed is a nice bonus on top of that. If you want some extra bleed resist in case you're having trouble with that scythe, though, and that's the part you're struggling with, there is the Blood Bite Ring, there's the Blood Shield, which you get in the Painted World, where you fight the Undead Dragon. What else? There's also, I think, the Gold Hand set, which you get right before you fight Ceaseless Discharge. You get that in the same room. I think that has very high bleed resist. I want to say the Eastern armor also has high bleed resist, which is the armor that you get just around where I was showing you the Shiva of the East was supposed to be in Darker Garden. I say supposed to because Shiva was in Blighttown for me, and I still haven't done anything with Shiva yet. Nice one, pull these guys. I also didn't get to talk about Priscilla's parents, which is kind of a hotly debated topic. So Priscilla is a crossbreed, and no one is really sure between what. She's obviously half dragon. I'm not sure if there's anything in the game actually stating that she's half giant. Her size can be a little bit deceiving. Scale in Dark Souls, like I think I've already mentioned, is kind of a tricky thing. Scale does not always indicate anything about characterization or narrative. Some characters and objects, I should say, are just made at higher scales for convenience in gameplay or in game design. Sometimes they actually do have some lore implications, so I'm not sure if Priscilla's actually supposed to be a half giant, or if she's supposed to be half human, or what. But I'm gonna shelve that talk for another second here while I homeward bone and refill my Estus supply, because weird as it sounds, these demons out here can actually be a little bit rough sometimes. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, I'm all good to go with my stock of Estus restored. And I'm trying to see if I can hit him off the ledge. It seems about 50-50. Sometimes he just falls straight off if you throw a couple knives at him. Sometimes he hangs around though and you have to fight him. These things I mentioned can be a little bit rough. They only take about 2 hits to kill at this point in the game, or at least with what I'm packing. But their weapons are lightning enchanted. They move very quickly, and if you're not careful, you can pull multiple ones at once, which is when they really get dangerous. That one fell off. It only took an arrow. Not even to the knee. Arrow to the head. More effective than arrow to the knee. Gotta keep that in mind. Is this guy gonna fall off too? Nah, I'm not even gonna get the second hit. The arrow went right between his legs. Yeah, if I fight these guys 2 at a time, it tends to get really nasty. There he goes. Sorry that I keep shelving talking about Priscilla and her parents, but instead of interrupting myself again down the line, or like in about 30 seconds, I'm just gonna wait until after the next section to finally talk about that. Because coming up is... Oh, yeah, I think I pulled both of them, so... Can I get them up here to at least fight them in a decent position? Because coming up is not only these two, but the most dangerous fucking part of the entire game coming up. And it's for this section... Yeah, those guys up there. It's for this section that, back when I did the little segment on trading, I traded one humanity for a ring of sacrifice. It was for this section that I wanted the ring of sacrifice. Oh, I got a 2-for-1 there. Too bad it's only doing 14 damage. Now, here's how this is gonna work. I am gonna try to do this the fun way and the quick way. And if that gets me killed, the ring of sacrifice will save me, and I will come back here and do it the very lame way. The lame way of doing this is to hide behind a pillar and shoot them with poison arrows and wait for them to die of old age. Or poison, one or the other. Old age or poison, one of those will kill them. The fun way is the way I'm about to do it. I'm always nervous doing it this way. No matter how many times I do this, it is always scary. This is by far the most dangerous part of the entire game, bar none. These are the infamous Anor Londo Demon Archers, or the Silver Knight Archers as they are more accurately described. So you want to wait until they stop shooting, roll through the arrow. Oh, he's not supposed to shoot twice, damn it! Oh, that made me so nervous. And I just have to get the parry, and I did it. There we go. I'm not taking any chances going after the other guy. If you go to the opposite end of the ledge up here and you kill the other archer, there is a tasty, I want to say it's a Proud Knight soul waiting for you. I'm not doing that, though. That shit's scary. That shit's really scary. I mentioned that I'd gone through Blighttown so many times I became comfortable with it. That's because Blighttown isn't that hard. Even though most people don't like it and they're not terribly comfortable with Blighttown, it's kind of easy to get accustomed to it.
Oh, there you are. You've been quiet these days. Smooth summoning out there. Anytime you see my brilliantly shining signature, do not hesitate to call upon me. You've left me with quite an impression. I would relish a chance to assist you. You really are fond of chatting with me, aren't you? If I didn't know better, I'd think you had feelings for me. Oh no, dear me, pretend you didn't hear that.
Alright, that's actually going to do it for this episode. I promise I will talk about my theories on Priscilla in the next episode. Sorry I keep delaying that. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.